Hello and welcome to episode 22 of our RPG tutorials. Today we're going to implement a menu control, and then we'll add exit menu from our previous project. And then we'll make some edits to it. We'll add the pipeline and we'll put it in. So originally I wanted to finish up the gameplay loop, but I realized I didn't want loose floating menus again. So I figured we'll go through making a menu control, and then we'll finish our game loop. So the purpose of the menu control is to keep all your menus in one place and make it very easy to open and close menus. In this case, we're only going to allow one menu open at a time. You could do something different, but that is the case that we're going to do. Which means every time that you open one, you close all the rest of them. When you close one, you can loop through and figure out which one to close. Like it just makes it all nice and compact and neat, and allows you to do things like setting different delegates, pass objects is what we call them in ours, when needed. We're not going to get into that today, but I'm just kind of giving you an example for the different menus. Anyway, just gives you better control, better code readability, writability, all that kind of stuff. And I didn't want to go through another project with floating menus. I did floating menus last time because I didn't want to kind of go over everybody's head. But I feel like you guys are looking for something actually more in depth anyway. So we're gonna do this one. It's not crazy. It's not hard. It is what it is. All right, if you guys can take a second, like and subscribe, that would be really helpful. Comment, that would be even more helpful. YouTube really likes those things, and it really helps the channel out. So if you can take a second and do that, that would mean a lot to me. All right, let's jump right in. Got my text big, so I'm not off on that. So first things first, we need to create a menu controller, and that is an engine level item. So this, I think, is one of our first engine level items we're adding here. And then if you'll notice in data types, we already have menu 2D. We're going to put it in a menus folder. Then we are going to add new item, and then class menu controller. All right, we're gonna use the includes from menu 2D. X-nay the namespaces. You can leave those in and make them what you want if you want. I'm not going to get into that stuff in these tutorials. It just doesn't do me much good or you much good. Public menu controller. And in this case, menu controller is just blank, I believe. Yep. So what is the menu controller? Well, for right now, it only consists of two parts. Now, we can do a lot more with this, but this is where we're going to start. So menu, 2D, current, menu. And then it's a public list, menu 2D, menus. New list menu 2D. Okay, in our constructor, we were just going to say current menu is null. When I said blank earlier, I meant the properties. Or parameters, I'm sorry. The parameters, keywords. Okay, from there, what we are going to do is we always need our update and our draw. So public virtual void update, and then public virtual void draw, and then we need a few more things. So we need to be able to open and close menus, and we're going to do those through close menu by name, public virtual void close menu by name, and then we need to pass in a name. String name. Okay, we're going to copy paste this a couple times. For other ones that we need a get menu by name. So let's close. We say get, and that one is going to return a menu 2D. And then for right now, we'll say, so it doesn't complain at us, return null. We are going to need a set menu by name. It doesn't need to return anything. And we're going to need a toggle menu by name. So difference between set menu and toggle menu. Set menu is make this active now. Toggle is if it's active, you turn it off, and if it's inactive, you turn it on. Okay. So that was just a quick description. Let's start with our update. It's super simple. If current menu not equal to null, current menu not update. Let's copy paste that to the draw. You could check active here too if you wanted to. I prefer we are going to align active and this null property to be about the same. But as you can maybe tell with set and toggle, you could leave things active when you close a menu, and there is a case to be made for that. If you want the menu to be updating, you leave it active, whereas if you want the menu to, like, updating something, you can check to see if it's the current and the active, and you can keep something updated, like maybe you're updating your inventory as things go. You know, you have a keybind, you press it, and you update your menu screen when that keybind is pressed to say use a potion or whatever. So there is that possibility. I don't usually do that, but that is a case that can be made. But we are not going to check active for this one because we are just going to let the current menu be the master. But also, like I said, the two different variables allow you to do two different things. So we're not going to get rid of the active variable. We're just going to line them to essentially be the same thing. And therefore, we're not going to check it. So I hope that explains that. Maybe it didn't do a very good job of explaining, but I wanted to at least go through that. I forgot one other one. So we have public virtual void register menu. That one takes in a menu 2D. And then we're going to say that menus.add menu. This is a place where we could do a whole lot more for registering and what registering actually means and setting certain parameters and getting the sizes and doing all the things. We're not going to do any of that right now, but you could. You could make this menu do things that it isn't naturally programmed for. So like if you wanted to reuse your exit menu from game to game, which is essentially what we're going to do here, you might resize it, you might do different things, you might have something happen here. You could change the delegates that it calls, you could do all kinds of things in the register menu. We are not going to do any of that right now. We're trying to keep this simple as we can, but you could do a lot in here when registering a menu to homogenize your menus to do what you want them to do. Anyway, that's there. Let us start with the get menu by name. Okay, so this is a relatively simple one. We're just going to loop through our menus, and then we are going, if we find the menu, then we are going to put it out. And you're going to find a problem already with this in a second, or you'll see a problem with this in a second, and then we'll have to make adjustments. So I less than menus count I plus plus, and then here's where our issue is going to come in. We're going to say if menus I dot name, oh, it doesn't exist. So this is kind of our controlling factor. Public string name equals blank, because it's just this is our base menu case. So now we can say name equal name. So that name still is now working, and then we say return menus hi. Okay, so that gets us our menu. So we can now get a menu anytime. This can be very helpful if we're trying to do something to our menu. We can get it from anywhere in our game. Once we make our menu controller global, which we will, you'll see. So that's our get menu. Our set menu by name is going to use that, which is why we started with it. But it's also got a little bit more in it. So first of all, we need to know, hey, is our current menu not equal null? Because if it's not equal to null, we need to deactivate it, right? So current menu dot close current menu dot close menu by name current menu name. So that's calling this guy, which we'll fill out in a minute. Why are we calling that guy instead of just doing it ourselves? Well, because we want to keep it all the same. So closing menu is closing menu. That's always the same. You never have to worry about it. We just do it that way. Okay. The next thing we do in set menu by name is we say current menu equals get menu by name. So that's calling what we just wrote to get the menu. And then we are going to say current menu dot active equals true. All right, that's setting a menu. Very simple. So we close a menu if there's one open, and then we set the menu. You could say and current menu dot name is not equal to name. That would make it slightly better, so we're not reclosing and opening the same menu over and over again. Because if it was the same menu, we would close it and then reopen it. That's just a waste. So there we go. Yeah. We would also then need to do this. Okay, well that's a small change that we can make. Hopefully I didn't add a bug in there, but I typically do, so hopefully we didn't. But and then our close menu is not complicated, but slightly more complicated. So first of all, we need to know if it's the current menu. So current menu not equal null and current menu dot name is equal name. And then so here we're going to say current menu dot active equals false and current menu equals null. Else we're going to loop through and find if that menu exists. Let's just find our loop here. And then rather than returning here, what we're going to do is just say menus i.active equals false. All right. So we don't need to do this if it's the current menu because we'll just handle it there. And then if it isn't the current menu, then we need to go through and find it. And remember I told you that potentially active could be separate from what is in current menu. And so we also want to be able to close those things. So if we tell this menu stop being active at all, then we want it to go find it and say, no, that's not what we want, right? So that's that. Last but not least is the toggle menu. So toggle is rather simple now. It would have been complex, but now it's super simple because we've already written these functions. So first things first, we say if current menu not equal null and current menu dot name equals name. So this is the menu is open, right? We're going to say close it. Else open it or set it. Our toggle became very, very simple because we've already set up the parts of it. So, all right, let's quickly recap. We have the drawing or the updating. We have the drawing. We have the ability to close a menu. We have ability to get a menu. We have ability to register a menu, set the menu to active essentially, and then to toggle that menu. So these are kind of your basic Menu controller functions. I'm sure you can come up with some on your own and implement your menu controller the way you want. This is a very basic one. Where does menu controller go? Well, menu controller goes in our actual engine globals. It is a base level thing. I highly recommend you guys implement a menu controller and use it at all times. That is my recommendation. You choose to do what you want. I got annoyed already with the other project not having the menu controller, so and we hadn't even gotten super far into that. Now the pipeline for menu controller, which we can't test until we add exit menu, which we'll get to. The pipeline for menu controller goes in gameplay. You could put it in main. There's an argument for that. I'm going to put it here. So menu controller, so it updates first and draws last. Globals dot menu controller. Oh, we haven't, you know what we forgot to do? We forgot to initialize it. That's in main. And that's going to go in our load content pretty much right at the top. So globals dot menu controller equals new menu controller, done. Okay, very simple. Now it goes into gameplay. Menu controller dot update, and then the very last line is globals dot menu controller dot draw. All right, very simple. Right there. Doesn't take much to make it work, which is very nice. And now all menus will update before all the rest of your code, and they will draw after it, which means they will draw on top. So you no longer have to worry about where your menus are placed. You just call the menu controller. It's all the way back here. It's before pretty much anything else in the code, and it will do its job and be where it's supposed to be. And since we only have one available or one open right now, it will always be in the right spot. Okay, let's add our exit menu. So first things first, we need to add our menus folder. So add folder menus. And I put these in UI last time. You can continue doing that if you want to, if you liked that, or you can put them here. I may put them back in a UI folder. I haven't made that decision yet. I will provide this old exit menu file for you. Yeah, let's open it up. Change out our namespace. Oops, what'd I do? There it is. Change out our namespace, and then we need to remove all the key binding stuff. We'll probably end up putting that back in, so I'm just going to comment it for right now. Alright, I think that's where we need to be. And the button itself. Okay. So our exit handles a lot of things already. One thing we can quickly change is that when we want to deactivate it, we no longer deactivate it in this way. We say globals dot menu control dot close menu by name, and then we hand it its name, and then in here we are going to say name equals exit. Yep, that's right, and that's all pretty much good. Okay, our gameplay has to make a small change. We need to be able to get to where we change the state, so we need to pass object. What is it called? Let me make sure they line up. I don't want to rename this different. Change game state. Okay. So pass object, change game state. Change game state equals change game state. Happy days. Okay. We need to create an exit menu. And then in our exit menu, we need, well, after we create it, we need to register it. So exit menu equals new exit menu. It's going to want to pass object. We'll get that in a second. Globals menu controller dot register menu, which right now just adds it, but we're going to control that through a function so that we can add it later if we wanted to. And then this goes to a function called exit game, or exit game. I liked, yeah, let's just leave that. Exit gameplay is fine. So let's take that, let's put it into our exit menu, and then we come down here, we say change game state, which we just saved up top a second ago, 0, so that's going to take us back to our main menu. And then we need an init function to reset everything. So public virtual void init. You can call it whatever you want. That's what I call it. It's kind of like a constructor, but not quite. And then here we are going to deal with the new character screen getting added and the state changing to 0. So reinitializing. We don't need to recreate our exit screen. We don't need to create the menu, re-register the menu controller. We don't need to redo the delegate. So this is all we need to do here. So that's what we're going to do. And then we are going to have to pass this in. And I believe it's already in here. So yeah, exit game goes here. And then we are going to use escape to get to this menu, so this can't work. It can work at a different level later, but it can't just be this. So we're just going to remove it for now. And the last thing that we have to do is in gameplay, we have to go in and register the escape key to open this menu. So in gameplay, update if globals.keyboard.get single press, and this is escape, and this is globals.menu controller.toggle by name, toggle menu by name, and then exit. This should give us the ability to open that menu, and the top button should return us to the screen, and the bottom button should exit us back out. Let's give it a shot, see what happens. Play. Ooh, we don't like something. I didn't call it. I did not call init here. All right, here we go. If I hit the escape button, current menu's null. Yeah, so whoops. We didn't add this part in, and we should have. You guys may have already caught that. Hopefully you did. Let's try it one more time. Come here, play. writing our draw. Null. Set the menu by name. Get menu by name. Current menu is not equal to null. Oh no, that doesn't matter. Ha! We added a bug. Or I said we might add a bug if we weren't careful. Let's just remove this. It doesn't need to be there. Take it back to the state it would have been in. And there we go. Now we're drawing. Alright, this should return us. There's our toggle, our return. This should take us out. It closed our game. That was unexpected. Main. Where are you, main? There we are. Oh, shoot. It's exit 0. It's changed game state that we wanted. That was dumb. Try this one more time. Bottom button takes us back. Play. We need to close that menu when we come through, but this is correct. So everything's right there, except we have to close that menu, which we do from gameplay. When we're going to exit gameplay. And then here we're going to say globals dot menu controller dot close menu by name exit, because that's what's open. All right, one last attempt. Make sure everything is right. Start. We close it. We can toggle it. We close it there. Reopen it. We can click here. It takes us out. We hit play. We're back at the normal state. We have succeeded. So there we have our menu control implemented, and we have an exit menu as a bonus because we needed something to test it with. Sorry for creating that bug. I even called myself out. I'm like, oh, I hope this doesn't create a new bug. That's what happens when you add code on the fly. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like. Please subscribe. Please comment. Help me out. Help push this channel a little bit. It's been here for 5 years. It needs to grow so I can keep pumping these out without any flack from my wife. How's that? Anyway, have a great week, and I'll talk to you guys next week.